My beloved child, do not be too quick to let go of the person God has placed upon your path, because this encounter may carry a meaning far deeper than what you can presently see. That person did not merely enter your life to fill a passing season, nor did they appear through a meaningless chain of coincidences. Some people are sent as reminders. Some come to help you grow, and others are entrusted to you as part of a sacred responsibility that you must learn to receive with wisdom. I know you have often grown weary because of them. You have wondered why you should continue being patient with someone who repeatedly makes the same mistakes, refuses help, or unintentionally wounds those who sincerely love them. Yet, before you decide to leave, quiet your heart and listen, because you may be seeing only their outward behavior, while God sees the entire battle taking place within their deepest places. Perhaps that person is carrying a burden they have never learned how to name. Some wounds have remained hidden for so long that even they do not understand why they have become cold, angry, or difficult to approach. Sometimes they push you away, not because they do not need you, but because they fear that one day you will leave, as others did before. They may speak words that disappoint you, make choices you cannot understand, or run from something good because they do not believe they deserve to receive it. I am not saying this to excuse everything they do wrong, but to help you understand that behind a person covered with sharp edges, there is often a wounded heart that has never learned how to heal. You were placed near them, not to condemn them, control them, or become the one who repairs everything, but to become a peaceful, honest, and steady presence. However, remember clearly what I am teaching you. Loving someone does not mean accepting endless harm. Patience does not mean you must lose your dignity, health, or peace in order to keep someone close. God has not called you to become anyone's savior, for He alone can reach the deepest places that your hands cannot touch. Your part is to love with discernment, to help within healthy boundaries, and to speak truth with gentleness. Sometimes, standing beside someone means listening without judgment. At other times, the most loving thing you can do is establish a clear boundary. Refuse to support destructive behavior, and allow them to take responsibility for their choices. Do not confuse sacred sacrifice with draining yourself until nothing remains. I know there have been moments when you wanted to turn away because everything you had done seemed useless. You spoke words of encouragement, yet they appeared not to listen. You gave them opportunities, yet they made everything more complicated. You prayed for them to change, but all you saw was delay and repetition. In those moments, disappointment whispered that you should abandon them, that they were not worthy of your concern. But, my child, not every seed sprouts immediately after it is planted. Some words of love must remain in a person's memory for a long time before they are courageous enough to believe them. Some acts of kindness are fully understood only after they have passed through a season of drought. What you plant today may not produce visible results immediately, but that does not mean it is not quietly doing its work. Consider the faithful guides of old. Many times, they had to walk with people who were stubborn, constantly complaining, and repeatedly returning to their former ways. They persevered, not because they never became tired or disappointed, but because they understood that the mission was greater than temporary emotion. There were also women who chose to remain beside their loved ones through seasons of loss, not because they could see a glorious future ahead, but because loyalty within them was stronger than the fear of lack. Those quiet choices opened roads that no one could have imagined in the beginning. Therefore, do not underestimate a phone call you make to ask how someone is doing, a meal you bring, a forgiveness offered with boundaries, or a quiet presence. God can use what seems small to prevent someone from falling more deeply into despair. Even so, you must distinguish between being called to walk beside someone and being bound by guilt. If you remain only because you fear that every hardship they experience will become your fault, then your presence is no longer rooted in freedom. You can support them, but you cannot live for them. You can show them the path, but you cannot force them to walk upon it. You can open the door, but you cannot drag someone through it while they still cling to darkness. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the part God has given you, not to control the outcome. When you have spoken truth, loved with a pure heart, and established necessary boundaries, place the rest back into His hands. You do not need to remain awake every night, carrying a burden that was never yours. That person may not yet recognize the value of your presence. They may take your kindness for granted or respond with resistance when you speak something they are not ready to hear. Do not allow that to make you bitter. A lamp does not argue with a dark room. It simply continues to shine according to its nature. In the same way, allow your life to become a testimony through consistency, integrity, and the way you preserve peace in adversity. Do not attempt to persuade them with hundreds of words when a steady life can communicate something far deeper. Let them see that love is not indulgence. Forgiveness is not forgetting the lesson. And loyalty is not abandoning yourself. This relationship may be affecting more than just the two of you. One right decision today may change the way an entire family treats one another for years to come. One person who is lifted may later become a source of strength for many others. A cycle of pain ended through you may protect an entire generation from repeating old mistakes. You cannot yet see the whole picture. So do not conclude too quickly that what you are doing is meaningless. Some miracles do not begin with a loud sound, but with one person's small decision not to return evil for evil, not to leave in anger, and not to allow disappointment to steal their compassion. When you act in this way, you are not merely helping one person, you are helping to open a new path for those who come after them. Yet, you must also make time to care for yourself. Return to stillness. Ask for discernment, and observe what this relationship is producing within you. If your presence is helping them gradually accept responsibility, value what is good, and desire to move toward the light, continue walking beside them in peace. But if they continually exploit your kindness, reject every boundary, use words to diminish you, or cause you to live in fear, you have the right to step back. Sometimes loving a person from a safe distance is the wisest choice. Not every departure is betrayal, and not every act of staying is loyalty. What matters is that you act from guidance rather than anger, from love rather than dependency. Therefore, my beloved child, do not abandon that person merely because of one difficult season. But do not abandon yourself while trying to save them. Stand firmly in the place God has given you, with hands ready to lift but not control, with a heart that is compassionate but not blind, and with words that are gentle yet full of truth. You may become an anchor when they are nearly swept away, or a lamp that reminds them the way home still exists. You do not have to create the miracle. You need only remain faithful. while God performs the part that only He can accomplish. Love them with maturity. Pray without controlling. And hope without losing your peace. At the appointed time, you will understand why this encounter was arranged and how your steadfastness became part of the story of restoration. God has been quietly writing. You will experience a very different kind of freedom when you stop allowing anxiety to rule each day. Imagine waking one morning without heaviness pressing against your chest, without your stomach tightening over things that have not happened, and without your mind endlessly creating dark possibilities and forcing you to live inside them. I know you have endured many days when, from the moment you opened your eyes, you thought about obligations, doors that had not opened, answers that had not come, and questions you did not know how to solve. You became so accustomed to preparing for the worst that peace began to feel unfamiliar. But I am leading you into a new season where security will no longer depend entirely upon circumstances, but will be built upon the trust that you have not been abandoned in this life. You do not have to carry all of tomorrow upon the shoulders of today. What has not yet arrived will carry its own grace. And what stands before you now already comes with enough strength for you to pass through it. The provision I have prepared for you does not consist only of money, opportunity, or visible possessions. There is a deeper kind of wealth, knowing that you do not have to prove your worth by overworking, pleasing everyone, or exhausting yourself to gain approval. You were already valuable before anyone praised you. Your life already carried meaning, even on days when you had achieved nothing remarkable. When you understand this, you will no longer bow before the fear of falling behind. You will stop comparing your journey with someone else's road and stop condemning yourself simply because you are moving more slowly than you once hoped. True freedom begins when you stop asking whether you are enough and learn to trust that I did not create you deficient. You still have room to grow and many things to learn. But being unfinished does not make you worthless. I have seen every test through which you have passed. There were days when you kept going, even though you no longer felt strong. There were nights when you did not know what tomorrow would bring. Yet you refused to abandon what was good. At times, your prayer became nothing more than a sigh. But your heart still turned toward the light. It was in those moments that your faith was trained. Faith does not always appear courageous. Sometimes it is simply rising one more time after you have fallen. Your reward is not a life completely free from storms, but the certainty that storms no longer possess the authority to decide who you will become. The difficulties of this world are real, but the power that lifts you is also real. Once you recognize this, you will no longer interpret adversity as proof that I have moved away from you. Perhaps you are still troubled by your mistakes, your moments of weakness, or decisions you deeply regret. I want you to understand that these things do not automatically remove you from a good purpose. I am not looking for people who have never stumbled. I seek those willing to be shaped. A heart willing to learn is more precious than a perfect appearance that remains closed. Your shortcomings are not a sign declaring that you are unworthy. They simply reveal that, like every other person, you need grace, guidance, and time to mature. When you admit your limitations without sinking into shame, you open a space for greater strength to uphold you. I do not ask you to hide the fragile parts within you. I invite you to bring them into the light so that they can be healed, instructed, and transformed into wisdom. Remember David, who was once only a young shepherd without magnificent armor or a position that attracted attention. What made him different was not his physical stature, but the courage formed during hidden days. Before he faced a giant in front of everyone, he learned faithfulness where few people could see him. Moses also feared that his words were not strong enough to lead a nation. But his insecurity did not prevent the mission entrusted to him. I do not require you to possess every answer before you begin. I ask only that you move forward with what is already in your hands, trusting that whatever is missing will be supplied along the way. Weakness is not a place of shame. It can become the place where you learn dependence, humility, and compassion for others. Therefore, do not view your past as an endless debt you can never repay. Years of pain, failures, and unwise choices can become testimonies of renewal if you stop using them to punish yourself. What happened cannot be removed from your story, but it can be given a new meaning. The wound that once caused you to close your heart may help you recognize the pain of another person. The lack that once made you tremble may teach you to manage small things with gratitude. Rejection may help you stop placing your worth into human hands. I waste no chapter, not even the chapters you most want to forget. When placed into my hands, what once caused you shame can become a source of encouragement for someone standing where you once stood. Now, imagine a life where help arrives at the right time, sometimes even before you can name what you need. A work opportunity appears when every path seems closed. A meeting brings an answer to a problem you have considered for many months. A relationship that had grown cold begins to heal through honesty, humility, and conversations no one previously had the courage to begin. A weary body gradually recovers through appropriate care, rest, effective treatment, and renewed hope. I can work through extraordinary events, but I also often act through very ordinary means. A devoted doctor, a timely friend, a clear idea, or a small door you almost overlooked. Do not limit renewal to only one form. Sometimes what you hope to recover returns in a new form that is better than the old one. Sometimes the loss of a job is not the end, but the necessary space that enables you to recognize a calling more aligned with your gifts and values. Sometimes a plan collapses because it is not large enough to contain the person you are becoming. Closed doors are not always punishment. Sometimes they are merciful redirection. I see farther than the present moment, and therefore I know which path will slowly drain you and which will help you mature. What you call delay may be protection. What you call loss may be creating space for a healthier beginning. However, I do not want you to remain still and wait for everything to change on its own. Allow faith to lead you into wise action. When you desire restored health, care for your body with discipline and seek the support you need. When you desire financial stability, learn to manage, restrain unnecessary spending, and work with integrity. When you desire a relationship to be restored, begin by improving the way you listen, speaking truth in love, and establishing healthy boundaries. When you sense a new calling in your work, develop your skills and prepare seriously. I provide for you, but I also entrust you with the responsibility to preserve what is given. Miracles and maturity are not opposed to one another. Often, a miracle begins with one very small step of obedience. My child, the pain you endured does not have to become the final chapter. It may give birth to a purpose large enough to touch many lives. What you learned in darkness can become a lamp for those who have lost their direction. The peace you recover may help you teach others how to breathe in the middle of a storm. You do not need to deny what happened, but neither must you continue living as though it were still happening. Step out of old scenarios. Stop predicting disaster, and stop preparing yourself for failure. I am teaching you to expect goodness while remaining wise, to trust while staying awake, and to hope while remaining responsible. From this day forward, let your heart rest in the truth that you are supported, guided, and given enough strength for each day. The future is no longer a place you must fear. It is a land you will enter with me, with open hands and a heart no longer bound by anxiety. The most urgent matter in this season is not merely what is changing around you, but the new person I am quietly forming within you. My beloved child, you are no longer the person who always bows before fear, allows doubt to determine every step, or permits former failures to define your worth. The weaknesses that once caused you to withdraw are gradually losing their authority. I am enlarging your heart, clarifying your vision, and placing within you a courage that does not come from human applause. You are being prepared to carry greater responsibilities, not with pride, but with a humble heart trained through seasons no one understood. The pressures you endured were not intended to crush you. They removed from you what could not accompany you into the next stage. Like a small creature leaving a narrow cocoon to spread wings never before used, you are leaving behind an old image of yourself. The process may confuse you, but it is revealing the beauty I placed within you long ago. Remember Esther, a young woman who once lived quietly among many others and did not appear to be someone who would bring great change. The world saw only her ordinary circumstances, but I saw a heart capable of standing firmly when the decisive hour arrived. She was not placed in a position of influence merely to enjoy safety for herself. She was brought there to become a voice for those facing danger. When the time came to choose, she too could have been afraid, hesitant, and uncertain of her ability. Yet, when she stepped beyond the shelter of hesitation, the door of purpose opened. You are standing before a similar moment. I am not telling you to do exactly what she did, but I want you to recognize this principle. There are times when you cannot continue living in the old way and still enter what is new. You must choose trust. Speak when it is necessary to speak, and move forward even when you cannot see the entire road. The stirring you feel is not an invitation to act recklessly. It is a call to awaken from the delay that has lasted too long. I know you have sometimes used preparation as a reason to wait, hidden fear behind the appearance of humility, or told yourself that you would begin only when you felt completely ready. But, my beloved child, some abilities appear only after you start moving. Some strengths within you awaken only when you face the challenge. If you wait until every doubt has disappeared, you may remain forever, standing before an open door. Courage does not mean that you never tremble. It means you do not permit fear to control your decisions. I do not ask you to understand everything. I invite you only to remain faithful to the step presently placed before you. The obstacles you have faced were not entirely meaningless. Distraction caused you many times to forget what truly mattered. Delay made you feel as though you were making no progress. Negative words followed you and tried to convince you that you would repeat your family's failures and never rise beyond familiar limitations. But I tell you that a pattern existing for many years does not mean it must continue through your life. You can become the first person to choose another way. The first to establish order in finances. The first to end harmful patterns of communication. Or the first to seek help instead of hiding pain. When you choose truth instead of pretending, discipline instead of surrender, and forgiveness instead of passing bitterness onward, you open a new road for those who follow you. Your victory is not found only in great achievements. It is also present in every small decision that refuses to repeat the past. However, do not turn this battle into hatred toward those who came before you. Perhaps they also carried wounds that were never healed, fears that were never named, and burdens they did not know how to release. Breaking a cycle does not mean condemning everyone who was once trapped within it. It means looking directly at the truth with compassion, accepting responsibility for your choices, and refusing to give the past continued authority. You cannot change what happened, but you can decide what will continue to pass through you. I am teaching you to become strong without becoming hard, discerning without becoming judgmental, and firmly bounded without losing love. This is the sign of true maturity. In this moment, the first thing you need to do is trust. But trust does not mean sitting still and hoping everything changes by itself. Trust means continuing to do what is right, even when no result is visible. It means fulfilling today's responsibility without knowing what tomorrow will bring. It means remaining calm when a plan is delayed, because you understand that a closed door is not always rejection. You may be protected from a path that does not suit you, or you may be given additional time to prepare. Do not force everything to happen according to the picture you have created. Keep the purpose within your heart, but allow me to show you the road. Sometimes you will reach the destination by a path entirely different from the one you imagined. Next, you must act boldly while remaining alert. When a work opportunity appears, do not look only at its attractive exterior. Consider whether it aligns with your values, health, and long-term direction. When an idea comes, write it down, research it, create a plan, and begin with the smallest thing you can do. When a new relationship begins, do not immediately call every connection a divine arrangement. Observe consistency, respect, and the fruit that person produces within your life. What comes from me will not require you to lose your peace, dignity, or discernment in order to preserve it. Boldness is not recklessness. It is the ability to move decisively after you have listened, considered carefully, and recognized what is right. Along with this, cultivate gratitude before all your expectations have been fulfilled. Do not give thanks only when you receive something great. Be grateful that today you can begin again, that you have recognized what needs to change, and that a difficult lesson has made you wiser. Gratitude is not a key used to force heaven to open doors according to your will. It is an attitude that keeps your heart from becoming bitter while you wait. When you are grateful, you recognize the goodness already present instead of focusing only on what is missing. From that place, you can manage small things faithfully and become more prepared for greater responsibility. You do not need to use a number or a public comment to prove your faith. The deepest confirmation is found in how you live after receiving this reminder. The world may tell you always to choose what feels safe. Never take a risk. Never speak. And never pursue what is different. But I am not calling you to live carelessly. I am calling you not to allow false safety to imprison you. A boat can avoid every wave by remaining forever in the harbor. but it will also never fulfill the purpose for which it was created. You are being taught how to sail with preparation, wisdom, and trust. The clouds that once covered your vision are gradually separating. Light does not enter your life only through one powerful emotion, but through every decision you make to open the door to truth, healing, and order. Your finances may change when you begin managing them wisely. Your health may be strengthened when you stop ignoring signs that require care. Your purpose will become clearer when you remain faithful to the small tasks already within your hands. Remember Moses standing before the sea, with danger behind him and something impossible to cross by human strength before him. He was not given a complete map of the long journey ahead. He was only called to take the necessary step of obedience in that hour. Then a road appeared where no one believed a road could exist. My child, perhaps you are, presently, standing between an old place to which you cannot return and something new you cannot yet see clearly. Do not call yourself trapped. See this as the place where you are learning not to depend entirely upon what is familiar. A road that has not yet appeared does not mean there is no road. But before the sea parts, you must stop standing there, only to repeat how impossible everything is. Prepare your feet, keep your heart calm, and do what belongs to your responsibility. You may feel that you are not good enough, experienced enough, or worthy of what is being offered. Yet I never chose you, because your record was free of flaws. Former mistakes do not necessarily disqualify you. If you honestly learn from them, they can become lessons that protect you from pride. The fear that once made you withdraw can teach you to become gentle with those who are trembling. Failure can lead you to rebuild upon a stronger foundation. I do not require you to become perfect before I begin using the goodness within you. I need you to be willing to learn, willing to change, and willing to rise. Small but sincere faith, when joined with consistent action, can carry you across mountains that appear impossible to overcome. Therefore, this calling does not end with you feeling encouraged for one moment. I am inviting you to live differently from this day forward. Lift your head, not because you believe yourself higher than anyone else, but because you no longer agree with the shame that once made you bow down. Speak with steadiness, but do not use your words to wound. Act courageously, yet keep a heart willing to listen. Enter what is new, but do not despise the place where you were trained. You are part of a work larger than yourself, the work of bringing light into dark places, rebuilding what has fallen, and allowing those who come after you to walk upon a healthier road. This is not merely one emotional moment. It is the beginning of a life renewed day by day. I am walking beside you, and as you remain faithful to the step before you, what once seemed impossible will gradually give way to the road that has already been prepared.